Most people hear the word cryptocurrency and immediately think, oh, it's just magic internet money, like online cash or a new version of dollars you can send without a bank. But that single assumption is one of the biggest misconceptions holding people back from understanding what's really happening. Crypto is not primarily new money. For most major cryptocurrencies, it's something far more powerful and foundational. Today, in the very first video on Crypto Pulse 360, we're going deep into the technology that makes all of this possible. Distributed Ledger Technology, or DLT, and why it's quietly changing everything right now and into the future. Let's make this crystal clear right from the start. Cryptocurrency is not really just a form of money. Yes, you can absolutely use some of it to pay for things, send value instantly across borders, or store wealth outside traditional banks. But if you reduce the entire crypto space to digital money, you miss the point entirely. It's like saying the internet is just email. The vast majority of major cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink, and others, are native to their own networks. Holding them is more like owning a share or stake in the network itself. These tokens serve multiple critical functions. They incentivize people around the world to secure and maintain the network through staking or mining, often earning yield or rewards in return. They frequently provide governance rights, allowing holders to vote on protocol upgrades, fee structures, or even new features. Their value is directly tied to the network's growth in usage, adoption, security, and utility, much like how shares in a company rise when the company succeeds, or how owning a piece of critical infrastructure becomes more valuable as more people depend on it. In short, they are programmable assets inside a decentralized economic system, not merely coins sitting in a wallet. There is one big exception: stablecoins. Assets like USDT, USDC, and others are genuinely a new form of digital currency. They are designed to act as stable money on-chain, pegged to fiat currencies like the US dollar, so they can be used for everyday payments, trading, remittances, and as a bridge between traditional finance and crypto. But even stablecoins only function because they sit on top of the underlying DLT infrastructure. So crypto as a whole is not trying to replace money. It is building an entirely new layer of value, ownership, and trust that runs parallel to, and in a multitude of ways improves upon, the existing financial system. Distributed Ledger Technology, or DLT, is the foundational backbone that makes everything we've just discussed possible. In the simplest terms, DLT is a shared, digital record-keeping system that is spread across hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of computers, called nodes, all over the world. DLTs exist on a clear spectrum, and understanding this spectrum is crucial. On one end, you have fully open and decentralized public blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Anyone can join, run a node, read the ledger, write to it, subject to consensus rules. And no single entity, no bank, no company, no government has full control. On the other end, you have permissioned or more controlled DLTs, often used by governments and financial institutions in several major economies. In these systems, access is restricted to approved participants, which allows for greater privacy, faster performance, and easier regulatory compliance. In truly decentralized versions, the ledger is maintained across a network of nodes, where each node holds an identical copy of the entire ledger. Imagine hundreds of independent witnesses at a public event, each writing their own identical report of what happened. Each full node is like one of those witnesses, holding the same complete record. When someone proposes a new transaction, the witnesses, nodes, check if it matches their reports. If most agree it's accurate, they all add it to their record at the same time. No single witness can rewrite history. The majority keeps the truth locked in. Any change, any transaction, must be agreed upon through a consensus mechanism involving these nodes, ensuring no single point of control or failure. This is radically different from traditional databases, which usually rely on one central server or a small cluster of servers controlled by a single organization. Those central points can be hacked, shut down, censored, or simply fail. DLT, by contrast, delivers four key properties: decentralization to varying degrees, no single point of failure in open systems; immutability. Once data is recorded and confirmed, it is virtually impossible to alter without consensus from the network. Transparency. In public versions, anyone can independently verify the entire history of the ledger. Security. Strong cryptography protects transactions, ownership, and data integrity. Blockchain is the most well-known and widely adopted form of DLT, a chain of time-stamped blocks linked together cryptographically. But DLT is broader than blockchain. Other structures exist, like directed acyclic graphs, DAGs, used in networks such as IOTA, Hedera Hashgraph, and Phantom. DAGs can offer advantages in speed, scalability, and feeless transactions for specific use cases like IoT data streaming or high-frequency micropayments. Together, these technologies enable native cryptocurrencies that act as both fuel and stake for their networks. Smart contracts that execute automatically when conditions are met. Think decentralized lending platforms, insurance payouts triggered by real-world data, or escrow services without lawyers. Tokenization of real-world assets, turning physical or legal assets into digital tokens that can be traded, fractionalized, and transferred instantly. Instant, low-cost global value transfers that bypass intermediaries, avoid settlement delays, and reduce high fees. Now let's look at why this matters so much now. DLT is exploding across the entire spectrum. Real-world asset tokenization, RWAs, is accelerating dramatically. Commodities, institutional funds, real estate, bonds, private equity, fine art, and even carbon credits are being brought on-chain in leading nations and financial hubs. Projections for 2026 range from $50 billion to over $400 billion in total value locked, with several major economies actively exploring tokenized assets. AI agents are emerging as autonomous participants on-chain. These software entities can trade, lend, borrow, manage portfolios, and execute complex strategies without constant human oversight, opening entirely new possibilities for efficiency and accessibility. Stablecoins continue to dominate everyday utility. Transaction volumes have already exceeded $33 trillion in recent years and are growing fast. They power remittances, cross-border payments, merchant settlements, and even enterprise treasury management at scale in countries across Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Enterprise adoption is also surging. Several major economies and financial hubs are using permissioned DLTs for secure interbank settlements, supply chain provenance, trade finance, and tokenized deposits. These developments show DLT is no longer just theory. It is actively being integrated into the real economy, from central bank digital currency pilots in dozens of countries to institutional finance to everyday payments. If all you see is digital money, you're missing the real revolution. Distributed ledger technology, in every form, from fully open blockchains to enterprise-grade systems, is quietly dismantling centuries-old systems of ownership, finance, and trust. It's handing programmable ownership directly to individuals. It's enabling truly borderless, instant, unstoppable finance. It's replacing fragile middlemen with unbreakable internet-scale trust. This isn't an upgrade to money. This is the foundational infrastructure for a new global economy, one that's already being built, whether people notice it or not. Ignore DLT at your peril. The world as we know it is being rewritten right now. This is what Crypto Pulse 360 is all about. Breaking down the real tech and trends, no hype, just clarity. Subscribe for 4 videos a week. Project overviews, navigating crypto, mini-series, weekly news, and more. Comment below. Did this change how you think about crypto or DLT? What's your biggest question? Next up, how DLT will transform industries, real-world examples and use cases. If you're ready to take the next step in crypto, check the links in the description. Wallets, exchanges, and more are waiting. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research. See you in the next Pulse.